There are 6 behaviors that will quietly destroy your confidence, your ambition, and your power. And the most dangerous part, they often come from family. Yes, the same people who are supposed to support you, protect you, stand beside you. But Machiavelli understood something most people are too afraid to admit. Blood does not guarantee loyalty. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who benefit the most from keeping you weak. They disguise control as love, disrespect as just joking, manipulation as family concern, and if you tolerate it long enough, you slowly become smaller, quieter, easier to control. But powerful men learn a different rule. Respect is not negotiable, even with family. So, in this video, you're going to discover 6 toxic behaviors you must never tolerate, not even from the people who share your last name. Because the moment you start protecting your boundaries, people either respect you or they reveal their true intentions. And if you're ready to become the kind of man that cannot be controlled, comment below, "I protect my power." Now let's begin. Because the first toxic behavior is far more common than you think, and it quietly destroys more potential than failure ever could. Toxic behavior. Number 1, the subtle saboteur. Not every enemy attacks you directly. Some of them smile. They sit across from you at family dinners. They ask about your plans. They nod as you talk about your goals. But the moment you start rising, something changes. Suddenly the jokes begin. You think you're going to be rich? Be realistic. People like us don't do things like that. Notice the pattern. They never openly oppose you. Instead, they plant doubt. A small comment here, a sarcastic laugh there, a reminder of your past mistakes just when your confidence starts growing. This is not harmless teasing. This is psychological sabotage. Machiavelli understood a truth about human nature. People are comfortable with you until you begin surpassing them, because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your ambition reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. So instead of rising with you, they try to pull you back down. And family members can be especially dangerous here, because they know your past. They remember every mistake you made, every failure, every embarrassing moment. And they use those memories like weapons, not loudly, but subtly, just enough to make you question yourself. This is the strategy of the subtle saboteur. They don't attack your dream directly. They erode your belief in it. But a man who seeks power must recognize this pattern quickly, because ambition cannot survive in an environment where doubt is constantly fed. So what does a disciplined man do? He stops explaining himself. He stops seeking approval. And most importantly, he stops sharing his vision with people who secretly hope it fails. Silence becomes his strategy. Progress becomes his answer. Because powerful men understand something simple and brutal. Not everyone deserves access to your ambition, and if you refuse to let anyone shrink your potential, comment below, "My ambition is non-negotiable." Now prepare yourself, because the second toxic behavior is far more manipulative, and millions of people remain trapped by it their entire lives. Toxic behavior number 2, emotional manipulation. Now understand this. Once subtle sabotage stops working, manipulators change their strategy. They stop mocking your ambition, and they start controlling you through emotion. This is where many strong men lose their power, because emotional manipulation does not look like hostility. It looks like concern. You begin setting boundaries. Suddenly someone says, "Why are you acting different? You've changed. You think you're better than us now?" Listen carefully to the psychology behind these words. They are not asking questions. They are installing guilt. Guilt is one of the most effective tools of control, because it forces you to question your own growth. The manipulator understands something simple. If they can make you feel like a bad person for improving your life, you will start limiting yourself voluntarily. This is the invisible leash. Machiavelli warned that people will often attempt to control others not through force, but through perception. They frame your independence as betrayal. They frame your boundaries as arrogance. They frame your discipline as selfishness. And suddenly, you are defending yourself for simply trying to become better. But a disciplined man recognizes this tactic immediately. Growth always disturbs people who benefit from your stagnation. Your ambition threatens their comfort. Your boundaries remove their influence. And once they feel that control slipping away, they weaponize emotion. You don't care about family anymore. You forgot where you came from. You're becoming cold. But understand this clearly. Setting boundaries is not cruelty. Protecting your future is not betrayal. And refusing manipulation is not arrogance. It is self-respect. Powerful men understand a principle that most people never learn. You can love people without allowing them to control you. And when manipulation appears, you do not argue. You do not explain endlessly. You simply remain calm, unmoved, uncontrolled. Because the moment guilt stops working, manipulators lose their greatest weapon. So remember this rule: a man who constantly apologizes for his ambition will never reach it. And if you refuse to be controlled by guilt or emotional pressure, comment below, "My boundaries are not negotiable," because what you're about to hear next is even more dangerous. The third toxic behavior destroys respect faster than anything else, and once you recognize it, you will never tolerate it again. Toxic behavior. Number 3, the boundary breaker. Here is a rule most people never learn. Where there are no boundaries, there is no respect. Weak men allow everyone access to their time, their energy, their decisions. Powerful men do not. And yet, one of the most common toxic behaviors inside families is this: the complete disrespect of personal boundaries. These people believe they have permanent access to your life. Your time is theirs. Your choices are theirs to question. Your plans are theirs to interrupt. You decide to focus on your work. They say you are ignoring the family. You refuse to attend something pointless. They say you are being disrespectful. You make a decision about your own future. Suddenly, everyone believes they have the authority to challenge it. Notice the pattern. This is not advice. This is control disguised as family involvement. Machiavelli understood something critical about power. If you allow people to cross your boundaries without consequence, they will keep crossing them again and again, because human nature respects limits. And when limits do not exist, people begin to assume ownership over you. This is why boundary breakers behave the way they do. They do not see you as an independent man. They see you as someone they can manage, someone they can influence, someone they can pressure. But a disciplined man understands something different. Your life is your territory. Your time is your territory. Your focus is your territory. And territory must be protected, not with anger, not with emotional arguments, but with calm, unshakable limits. You say no. You repeat it if necessary, and then you move forward without apology, because the moment people realize they cannot pressure you, something interesting happens. Some will suddenly respect you. Others will become uncomfortable, and the uncomfortable ones will reveal an important truth. They were never upset about your boundaries. They were upset about losing control. Powerful men do not fear this moment. They expect it, because respect always increases when access becomes limited. Remember this principle. A man who allows everyone to invade his life will never have control over it. But the man who guards his boundaries calmly and consistently becomes very difficult to manipulate. If you believe your time and energy deserve protection, comment below, "My life is my territory." Now prepare yourself, because the fourth toxic behavior is even more dangerous, and it destroys something every powerful man must defend: his reputation. Behavior number 4, public disrespect. There is something every powerful man must guard carefully. Not just his time, not just his ambition, but his reputation. Because reputation is power. It determines how people treat you, how seriously they take your words, and how much influence you truly hold. Machiavelli understood this clearly. A ruler who allows his image to be weakened will eventually lose authority. And yet, one of the most toxic behaviors often tolerated inside families is public disrespect. It usually appears disguised as humor. Someone mocks you in front of others. They bring up your past mistakes in a crowded room. They laugh about things you trusted them with. Everyone around you laughs, and the person doing it says something familiar. Relax, it's just a joke. But understand the psychology behind this moment. This is not harmless humor. This is status warfare. Human beings constantly measure hierarchy inside social environments. Who is respected? Who is taken seriously? Who is safe to mock? And when someone publicly humiliates you, even subtly, they are doing something strategic. They are lowering your status in the eyes of others. Why? Because raising themselves would require discipline, growth, and effort. Lowering you is easier. So they disguise disrespect as entertainment. And if you laugh along with it, you unknowingly confirm something to everyone watching, that your respect is negotiable. But powerful men understand a different rule. Respect is not maintained through aggression. It is maintained through standards. You do not explode emotionally. You do not create drama. But you also do not reward disrespect with laughter. You remain calm. You respond clearly. Or sometimes, you simply withdraw your presence, because access to your company is a privilege, and privileges disappear when respect disappears. Notice what happens when you stop tolerating public disrespect. Some people immediately adjust their behavior, others become defensive, but their reaction reveals the truth. People who truly value you will correct themselves. Those who enjoyed humiliating you will expose their intentions, and that clarity is powerful. Remember this principle. A man who allows himself to be mocked repeatedly will eventually be treated like a joke. But a man who quietly enforces respect becomes someone people think twice about challenging. If you believe your reputation deserves protection, comment below. My respect is not entertainment. Now pay attention, because the fifth toxic behavior is far more draining, and it slowly destroys the focus and discipline of anyone who tolerates it. Behavior number 5, the energy vampire. There is a form of toxicity that rarely looks aggressive. It doesn't shout. It doesn't insult you openly. It doesn't attack your ambition directly. Instead, it slowly drains you. This person is what power strategists call an energy vampire, someone who constantly pulls from your time, your focus, and your emotional stability, while giving nothing in return. They appear in your life with endless problems. Every conversation becomes a complaint. Every interaction becomes a crisis. There is always drama. Someone betrayed them. Someone disrespected them. Someone ruined their day. And somehow, they always need you to carry the weight of it. At first, you listen. Because you are a decent person. You offer advice. You offer support. You try to help them solve the problem. But something strange happens. The problem never disappears. In fact, new problems appear constantly because the energy vampire is not looking for solutions. They are looking for attention and emotional fuel. Machiavelli understood a simple truth about human nature. Some people are not interested in progress. They are comfortable in chaos. Chaos gives them something to talk about. Chaos gives them an identity. Chaos gives them control over the attention of others. And if you are not careful, they will pull you into that chaos with them. Powerful men cannot afford this because focus is the foundation of power. Discipline requires mental clarity. Ambition requires energy. And constant exposure to negativity slowly corrodes both. You start your day focused. Then you receive a call, 30 minutes of complaints, 1 hour of someone else's drama. Suddenly, your mind is scattered. Your momentum is gone. Your attention is no longer on your goals. It has been hijacked. This is how energy vampires weaken ambitious people, not through confrontation, but through constant emotional noise. And the most dangerous part? They often appear inside families. Relatives who constantly bring problems, but resist every solution. Relatives who dump their frustrations on you, but never take responsibility. Relatives who expect you to carry their emotional weight while they refuse to carry their own. But a disciplined man understands something crucial. Compassion does not require self-destruction. You can care about people without allowing them unlimited access to your mental space. Sometimes the most powerful response is simple. You limit the conversation. You stop engaging in endless negativity. You redirect your energy toward growth. Because energy is currency. And powerful men invest their currency carefully. They protect their focus. They protect their peace. They protect the environment that allows them to build something meaningful. Remember this rule. A man surrounded by constant negativity will slowly begin thinking like the people around him. But a man who protects his mental environment protects his future. If you refuse to let anyone drain your focus or your energy, comment below, "My energy is my power." Now prepare yourself. Because the sixth and final toxic behavior is the most dangerous of all. It destroys trust. It destroys loyalty. And once it appears, a wise man never forgets it. Behavior number 6, the betrayer of confidence. There is one behavior that powerful men remember forever. Not insults, not disagreements, not even disrespect, but betrayal of trust. Because trust is one of the most valuable currencies in human relationships, and once it is broken, it rarely returns to its original form. The sixth toxic behavior you must never tolerate, even from family, is this: the betrayer of confidence. This is the person who listens carefully when you speak. They nod when you share something personal. They appear supportive when you reveal your struggles. They encourage you to open up about your plans. But later, you discover something disturbing. Your private conversations are no longer private. Your words appear in places they should never be. Your vulnerabilities become stories told to others. Your plans become gossip. And the person responsible often responds with something dismissive. "It wasn't a big deal. I just mentioned it. You're overreacting." But understand something important. This is not a small mistake. This is a breach of trust. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the power of information. In politics, information is leverage. In relationships, information is access. When someone betrays your confidence, they are revealing something critical about their character. They cannot be trusted with your vulnerability. They cannot be trusted with your strategy. And most importantly, they cannot be trusted with your future plans. Because powerful men move carefully. They do not announce every goal. They do not reveal every weakness. They understand that the wrong person holding the wrong information can create unnecessary obstacles. This is why wise men learn a simple discipline. They observe how people handle small pieces of trust. If someone cannot protect a minor confidence, they will never protect an important one. And when betrayal appears, the response is not emotional chaos. It is clarity. Access becomes limited. Information becomes scarce. Distance becomes necessary. Because trust, once broken, must be rebuilt slowly, if it is rebuilt at all. Powerful men do not waste time trying to convince someone to respect confidentiality. They simply adjust their circle. Remember this principle. A man who shares everything with everyone will eventually regret it. But a man who protects his information protects his power. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. And if you believe trust must always be earned and protected, comment below, "My trust is earned, not given." Now understand something important. Recognizing these 6 toxic behaviors is only the beginning, because the next step is what truly separates powerful men from everyone else. Now you've seen the pattern. 6 toxic behaviors, 6 warning signs about human nature, 6 behaviors, 6 tests of your standards. But here is the truth most people never accept. Recognizing toxicity is not enough. Power comes from what you tolerate and what you refuse to tolerate, because human nature works on a simple law. People repeat what you allow. If you tolerate manipulation once, it will happen again. If you tolerate disrespect once, it becomes a habit. If you tolerate betrayal once, you invite another. And this is where weak men lose control of their lives. They recognize the behavior, they feel the frustration, but they remain silent. They say nothing, they hope the person will change. But Machiavelli understood something far more realistic. People rarely change when the behavior benefits them. If someone gains control, attention, or status from disrespecting you, why would they stop? This is why powerful men live by standards, not emotions. They do not explode in anger. They do not argue endlessly. They simply adjust access to their time, access to their attention, access to their life, because access is power. And when someone repeatedly violates your standards, you remove that access, quietly, calmly, without explanation, without drama. Because nothing communicates strength more clearly than a man who can walk away from disrespect without hesitation. That is the moment people begin to understand something about you. You are not easily controlled, you are not easily manipulated, and you are not someone whose boundaries can be ignored. That is how a man becomes untouchable, not by dominating everyone around him, but by refusing to tolerate behavior that weakens his life. Remember this principle. A man who tries to keep everyone happy will eventually lose respect from everyone, but the man who protects his standards protects his future. So if you've reached this point in the video, I want you to do something. Write this in the comments. I choose power over comfort. Because the moment you stop tolerating toxic behavior, your environment changes, your discipline sharpens, and the people around you begin to treat you very differently. If this message opened your eyes, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Machiavelli's Empire, and turn on notifications. Because here, we don't teach comfort. We teach power, strategy, and the psychology of becoming untouchable.